Warning, the following video may contain cursing, immature jokes, or verbal not safe for work content. If you do not wish to view anything that may contain any of these, please immediately go back to your previous page, or otherwise, just stick around and enjoy the show. Thank you.
What is up, guys? This is George from Rants and Raves, and today we're going to be telling some minorly embarrassing funny stories from our past, and I am joined here with
Alex
and my brother-in-law,
Aaron.
Let's do this.
Well, first I just want to get this out of the way. You said guys in your little beginning here. Did you just sexually identify all your listeners and exclude all the women that's going to be listening to you?
You know, my sister's going to listen to this and she's still going to be like, shut the fuck up, Aaron.
Well, yeah, that's your sister.
Yeah, not your wife, but the other one.
Yeah.
She's going to be like, oh, and she's a woman, and
Yeah,
she's
the
already
other
annoyed
sister.
by you. Yeah, there's two of them. No, two. There's mine will be four, but let's not count the others.
I use the word guys as like gender ambiguous.
Yeah,
so
me too. It's like, oh, how are you guys doing? And then there's always that one person that's like, did you sexually identify me? It's ma'am. And like, it's just, I don't want to deal with it.
That's why I say everybody.
What
Everybody.
Yeah. Okay, this isn't a podcast for bad singing. But yeah, let's tell some funny stories. Anybody got any?
Nope.
You guys fucking suck.
Well, there's one about my wife.
Go for it.
We just spoke about this a few minutes ago. But one of the times that we went down to the main mall down in South Portland, let's see, who was it? It was me, George, my wife Sonia,
and then
Joey,
and Kyle.
Yep. Was my son born at this point?
Yes.
Or no? Yes. So my son Julian as well. So traffic was starting to back up, and Joey ended up saying, "Hey, why don't we go in that side thing?" Talking about the breakdown lane.
Yeah.
And my wife ended up saying, like, that is a side thing. We don't drive over there. And then Joey immediately says, you're a side thing. And everybody, including myself, except for my son. My son didn't understand. But including myself, we're like, oh.
It's like that cat on Puss in Boots.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which, in fact, the Puss in Boots movie, when I saw that part, now I realize... that must be what Joey's copying.
Yeah, he does it all the time. Just hand over mouth. Ooh. It's a nice little thing to spicing up a moment. But no, is that all you got?
If you give me some time to think, I might. I'm kind of
sort of.
I don't know what else I could say. Forgetful. That's it.
What do you got, Alex?
So I guess it's not really as embarrassing as I think it is, but I'll tell it anyways.
All
so when I first learned to ride my bicycle, my mom insisted that I always wear my helmet.
Yeah.
So I got to that point in my life where I'm like, I'm gonna be rebellious.
Yeah.
And then I started not wearing my helmet, and so I went up the road, and it was like the first day I stopped wearing my helmet. I tried to bomb a hill, and I just ate shit. And I'm so glad that I didn't. I scraped my knees real bad.
Yeah.
Like they were bleeding, but my head was fine.
See.
So after that, I was like, you know what? I think I'm fortunate. I'll just put my helmet on.
I never wore a helmet, like on the bike as a kid, or on scooters or anything. Never the helmet.
Dangerous.
My parents didn't tell me to.
I usually do. The one time that I didn't, I was in Lewiston, as always, and a cop literally pulled me over and asked me if I had a helmet. And I ended up telling him, like, do you see one on me? He's like, you want to watch your mouth?
Fucking mouthy-ass kids. I've actually had a situation like that, too. It was in 3rd grade. I was going down my driveway, and it was a steep driveway. Back then, it seemed much steeper, probably because I was younger. Yeah. So It was a steep driveway. I was going down my road, and that's a steep-ass fucking hill.
Right.
And so then I turned onto my driveway, and I was like, going too fast. So I hit the brake, but I accidentally hit the front brake. So I went fucking flying off my bike. Like, I didn't actually go flying. I ended up catching my bike with my ankles, like, on the way out. So I just slid my face on the ground. I might be exaggerating, but I'm thinking 5 to 6 feet, just straight up sliding my face directly on fucking dirt and rocks.
Jeez.
And then my bike happened to get tangled up with my legs, so my legs were all like tangled up around the wheels and shit of my bike. I'm crying my ass off because I'm fucking like probably around 10 or so on, and I'm like, well, 3rd grade, so I don't know what grade that is, but well, what
8.
age that is. But yeah, so I'm like, I'm freaking the fuck out. Finally get the bike off me, and I'm having the worst day ever. And then I was like, going to my mom, she asks if I'm okay, the basics. We wash it all out. It's all swollen. I get up in the morning and I was like, Mom, I don't want to go to school. And my mom was like, no, you fucking skipped school way too many times. You're going to school today. And I was like, seriously? And she's like, yeah. So I go to school and they're like, guess what, kids? It's picture day. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So then I went there and I was like, look at my fucking face. Like, are you serious? And they're like, do you want to take a picture today? And I was like, no. And they took my picture. And I was like, I don't want it in the yearbook. And they're like, well, we'll ask your parents. Thank God my parents said no to putting it in the yearbook. And then when the yearbook time came, we found a separate picture. Probably, I think it was from the year before. So 2nd and 3rd grade, I have the exact same picture in the yearbook.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, I wish I would have kept that picture because the side of my face is swollen like a black eye and all that.
Yeah.
And I looked like fucking Two-Face. And like that would have been the worst yearbook picture ever. But it's no worse than like my kindergarten yearbook picture. If you go back to it today, it's black and white because I'm old. I'm only 20, but we used to have black and white yearbooks.
Right.
And you can see this little brown, well, black, but you can tell it was like a lighter color. Right. On my cheek, and it was chocolate because how fat I was in kindergarten. I took my yearbook photo with chocolate on my fucking face, like all around my lips, on my cheek, and it's still, you can see it to this day. There's chocolate on my cheek if you go into my yearbook.
I can see it right now.
Yeah, there's probably chocolate on my cheek right now as well.
Yeah. On the brownie.
Definitely. My yearbooks were always terrible though. At one point I had it was an afro, but it was more of like a, this may sound offensive, but it was more of a Jew-fro, because it was more like, it was poofy on the sides and then more flat on the top.
All right.
And that was all just terrible. I'm glad I comb now, but back then I didn't comb, so just, well, my mom would brush me, but we all know brushing definitely isn't going to keep that shit
right
tamed. But yeah, had a lot of bad situations with bikes. Still to this day, I got a bicycle last year, and I still don't fucking... I've tried to ride it like 50 times. I have like such bad fears on a bicycle from when I was younger that I can't like stand being on one now.
Get over your fear, you pussy.
We're gonna have to go on that. Where is that bike path? It's like completely paved, and it's like
the one in Brunswick.
It's from one town through several.
Isn't it in Brunswick to fucking Augusta or no?
No.
There's one in Brunswick.
Yeah, there's one somewhere.
There's one in Brunswick. There's one.
I just said that
in the Portland
still
area.
Scared of a bicycle.
It's all right.
And I believe there's one that goes from Richmond to past Gardner. I don't know if it reaches all the way to Augusta or not.
I don't even have that bicycle anymore, by the way. I sold it.
Sold it.
Yeah, I sold it, and I got... What was it? I got something at a pawn shop. Oh, my desktop that I had before. I sold it to get that one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, yeah, I'm bad with bicycles.
We need to get you a trike.
No. I'll just stick with like a car. I have a car. I'm gonna just drive that car.
And be fat.
Yep. I'll be fat for the rest of my life, and I'm completely fine with it.
You should get a trike with us so we can go on like group
You know what I'll
biking
do?
sessions.
We gotta get a bike that's double-sided. But one of them is a cart to put a person in, kind of like a motorcycle.
Right.
And do that like that, because I'll willingly let you go in the passenger seat. At least I know I'm not going to be getting unbalanced. Huh? I'll do that.
Well, it depends, because I don't know if they actually make that kind of attachment for the bike where it's on the side.
They make the ones where it's on the back.
Yes, on the back.
Which still helps for balance.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. You guys got anything else?
Well, when it comes with bikes, I know this isn't very much impressive, but I can ride a bike with no hands.
I can't. I tried to learn, but I just couldn't do it.
I suck with bicycles.
Like, the first time that I tried it, succeeded. Never failed for me. Don't know why. I've always been good with my balance, I guess.
Yeah, good with balance, but you can't remember where you put your wallet for the life of you.
Or keys. Yeah. Sometimes cell phone.
Terrible memory, but sick at balance.
Sometimes I forget my wife's name. No, just kidding there.
Sometimes I forget your wife's name and she's my sister. But no. Any other funny stories, not just bicycle related?
Kind of funny story. I'm continuing to argue with your sister. She's been wanting to do exercise and everything to get in better shape. And so we have a treadmill downstairs in our basement. And we just recently, I recently bought her a exercising bike. Keep telling her I'm gonna put a electromagnetic generator attached to it, so that way that if she wants to watch TV, she's gonna have to pedal. She keeps saying no, I keep saying yes, then she hits me and slaps me, and you know how it is with wives.
They're abusive, but the second you're abusive, you're the one who goes to prison.
Yeah. Well, back in the you even go back.
This isn't a fucking history lesson.
No. 150 years ago or so. Just think of this: if the guy beat his wife, he would be attached to a pole and get lashings.
Yeah.
Now, if the town found out that his wife beats him, they strip him naked, make him walk through the streets with lashings.
Yep.
So damn if you do, damn if you don't.
I think the women should be punished for what they do as well. Let's be honest here. But no, funny stories. Anybody else?
What about some of the funny stories that you always tell from high school?
Well, a lot
stuff
of
that kind of seems unbelievable, but it turns out that it's actually true.
Well, there was some. There was one that happened. I'm gonna start it off sad. So my mom passed away. She passed away my senior year of high school.
Right.
And this isn't a story I exactly like people to know, but fuck it. So I'm in high school. My mom just passed away. We had our funeral. This is like a week after she passed away. We had her funeral the next day, and I'm in my brother's truck, and I'm just like, Brandon, I really need to go to the bathroom. And he's like, no, you can't go. And I was like, come on, I need to go. He goes, fine, go inside Walmart. And I was like, I don't go in public restrooms, Brandon. And he was like, well, if you're going to be a pussy, you're not going to go to the bathroom until we get home. And I was like, fine, are we heading home after this? He goes, yeah, we're heading home after this. And I was like, I can fucking wait, let's do it. And then we're driving home, and he keeps hitting fucking potholes for no reason. And I was like, can you fucking stop? And
I
need
there
to
was
shit.
A reason for it.
Yeah. But no, I was like, I need to shit, stop it. And he was like, no, I'm not going to stop. And then he keeps hitting potholes, and he's laughing so hard because he's like, ha ha ha, I'm damaging this child. And then, so I'm getting upset because I have to shit, and I can feel it turtle heading as I hit every bump. And then I'm like, oh, thank God we're so close to being home. We're only a town away. He pulls into a fucking car wash. And I'm like, are you serious? He goes, I need to wash my car. Don't worry. I'm just going to pay for 5 minutes. And I was like, are you serious right now? I have to shit. And he's like, oh, then go to the bathroom in the public bathrooms. And I was like, no, I can't fucking do it. I don't feel comfortable. And he's like, then you're going to have to stay in here and wait. And I was like, you're a fucking asshole. He washes his car. I'm like, oh, finally, he's all set. He's like, hey, George, I'm putting it in for another 5 minutes. I forgot to wash off my bumper or something fucking douchey. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Puts it in for another 5 minutes. I'm waiting. And he finally gets done. And he's like, okay, let's head home. Meanwhile, hits every fucking bump on the way home. Remember, this is January. It's January 27th or 8th.
Oh.
So snow and ice all over the ground.
Right.
We pull in, and I was like, I'm going to take the ramp, because there's a ramp on my house, instead of taking the stairs, because it'll be quicker. I can just sprint up the ramp. And I jump out of his truck, and I'm in a good mood. Well, I'm not in a good mood. I lied. I was in a really bad mood, because my mom just died, and I had to shit. So Funeral's the next day, remember this. So I jump out of the truck and I get ready to start running, and there just happened to be an ice patch on the bottom of my ramp.
Oh, God.
And I slip. Boom. Fall on the fucking ground, and I sprained my ankle, which I later found out that I actually cracked my ankle that day. But meanwhile, I fucking shit everywhere on accident. Like, I slipped, fell, and just everywhere, all over my fucking ramp, just shit explosion, and I'm like crying because my ankle's broken, and I just shit myself, and my mom just died, so I'm just like sitting there like, why would whoever's in charge do this to me? Why would they do that? I'm already having a bad week. And so the next day at my mom's funeral, I'm sitting there, I'm walking around trying to pass out like at her like little paper pamphlet about her life, and I'm limping because I fucked up my ankle, and everyone's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Oh, it's okay, I sprained it." And then my brother, during my mom's funeral, was like, "You want to know why he sprained it? He fucking fell and shit himself." And I'm like, "Can you stop fucking telling everybody?" And he's just such an asshole. So the week my mom passed away, first of all, she passed away. Second of all, I like broke my fucking ankle. And third of all, I shit myself and had everyone find out the story. So, bad week, like probably one of the worst weeks of my life, but it makes for a funny story.
So it didn't get worse than that. That was the worst of that week.
Well, of that week, but then fucking month and a half later, my dad died.
Yeah.
So that made it a bit worse. But no, that week was a bad week. 3 bad events, really bad events starting, and then it was still pretty bad. But yeah, pretty garbage week.
I don't think I've ever shit myself.
Well, fuck
Except
you.
When I was a kid in diapers.
Do you think I did it by choice, Alex? You fucking asshole. I still, to this day, though, I'll fart and I'll be like, and I'm like, oh no, shit, and I run to the bathroom as fast as I can.
We know. We've experienced it.
And, like, I fuck with my friends quite a bit, and I'll just be sitting there and be like, and then I'm like, and that was poop. And they're like, oh. But, like, Kyle fucking, I probably shouldn't say this, but you know what, fuck it. But Kyle, since he's not here, I'll tell the story. Kyle fucking shit himself at a hospital. We all went to the 99 restaurant, and I got back and I had the shit, so I was like, I'm going to the bathroom, and I run into the hospital room, and it's my other friend's hospital room because we're going to visit him. So I run in and I shut the door, and I'm in the bathroom, and then I hear Kyle. He's like, "Hey George," and I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "How much longer are you gonna be while you're in there?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm taking a shit." And he's like, "Well, I kind of have to go to the bathroom," and I'm like, "Then go to the fucking waiting room. There's bathrooms there." And he goes, "I don't want to." And I'm like, "Well, hurry." I was like, "I'll hurry up. Just give me a minute." And then I just hear, like, a minute later, George? And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "I really need to get in the bathroom." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "I pooped myself." And I was like, "What the fuck?" So I get done, and I walk out, and he's sitting there like, he's like trying to hold his body up without feeling the squishiness of the poop in his fucking pants.
Right.
So he runs into the bathroom, and then he like opens the door, and he's like, "Does anyone have a plastic bag?" So we get like a Walmart bag, and he puts his underwear in there. Keep in mind, he got those George brand underwears that like the boxers are like fucking $10 a pair.
Right.
The really nice silky ones. So he throws those inside that bag and puts it in the normal trash can, which is something that I don't think that hospital janitor was expecting to smell.
No.
And he's just
biohazard.
Right.
Yeah, and he's just like, "Can we not talk to anybody about this?" And then now every time we're on a group chat, if he makes a joke, and it's like, "At least I didn't shit myself in the hospital." So that's a new little thing that we can do every once in a while.
And now it's here on the podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hopefully this becomes popular and everyone knows.
On the line.
I'll stop.
I I don't think Kyle's gonna watch this. So he's gonna be so confused when we start getting comments that are like, "Hey, you shit yourself."
Nah. So far we have 2 of us, the members of Rants and Raves, that have openly admitted they've shit themselves.
We'll talk about shitting yourselves and such. Anybody that's ever seen that awkward moment where one of the actors like always goes to what the hell is his name?
Zac Efron?
Yeah, Zac Efron's apartment, that every time he takes a shit in there, that is George at my house. I think out of all the times that you've been at my house, there's only been one time that you haven't taken a shit there.
That's my place of poop. I go to the bathroom in my own house, I go to the bathroom at work, and I go to the bathroom at my sister's house. That's how it works. I enjoy pooping there. It's a nice toilet.
But you always tell everyone what you've done afterwards. You're like, that's the greatest shit I've ever had.
Yeah.
Or like you walk out and you're like, oh, that feels so good, guys.
Yeah, it's because like it feels nice after you've taken a nice fucking solid, or even a liquidy one. Like the feeling of everything just rushing out. It's like when Moses parted the Red Sea. It's like that beautiful feeling of success.
Like straight fucking water.
Yeah, it's like I don't need to go to the gym to feel like I've done something with my life. Every time I poop, I feel like I succeeded.
That's gross.
Don't judge. But yeah, some weird shit has happened in my life. Have you guys came up with any new ones?
Well, this is kind of funny because of the reaction of our realtor, but
I know what you're talking about already.
Right. So my wife and I, we were looking at houses. We went through quite a few different ones, and the house that we have now, my wife actually found.
Yeah.
Then she sent information to our realtor, and our realtor says, no good. It's has a lot of problems. Well, then about 3 weeks later, I would say, she sends us a link and said, look what I found. And it's the same house. So that kind of pissed my wife off. But we went there and started taking a look around. The house was for sale for $64,900, which we did get at that price.
Yeah.
Probably should have negotiated a little lower, but it was bank owned, so they weren't gonna budge. And couple things that it needed was reshingle in the front of the house. It needed the porch to be removed, and a new heat source.
Yeah.
So instead of doing oil like it did have, because it would be cheaper to replace the oil drum and the oil furnace. But we decided to pay a little extra and get high efficiency on-demand propane water heater that also heats out a house. Costs a little more, but the fuel is cheaper, so long term and that it's all good.
Yeah.
This isn't really what you guys are listening for. But anyways, we were searching around the house and we went downstairs in the basement. Now, the basement is a full basement, which we're going to be finishing soon. But underneath where our dining room is, it's a crawl space.
Yep.
George looks over and says, I wonder if that's where they hide the dead bodies. Or was it Sonia that said...
Sonia whispered into my ear. She was like, I wonder if that's where they hide the dead bodies. And then I looked at the realtor and was like...
Like, we went upstairs, because the realtor was upstairs. For some reason, she didn't go downstairs with us. Probably that's the reason why. But George's like, are there any dead bodies down there? And the look on the realtor's face was priceless. She had her mouth open, wide-eyed, like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
We figured we'd ask. And also, like, they're supposed to tell you if anyone's died. So,
in which if somebody would have, my wife probably, as much as she's into the horror and paranormal movies and books and such, I believe that she wouldn't want to live there.
I don't think so.
I'd be the kind of person to be like, you sold me, but I want it for $20,000.
Yeah, I'd ask for it cheaper. But yeah, that was pretty funny. That was a good day. Well, if we're going back to like high school, like you said, I had one situation where this involves my brother too.
Which one?
Brandon. And so I had one situation. Brandon was he was the big tough guy at my school. And And I was at the dance. We're having a good day. Everyone's dancing, but I didn't really take part in the whole grinding situation. I was like the older guy there, so I was like, "Hey, this is basically intercourse. So stop dry humping me. I'm trying to go." So I started walking to like leave the dance floor, and this girl, I'm not gonna say her name, but she came out and started fucking rubbing her ass up against my dick, and I was like, "Yeah. Can you not?" Like, so I pushed her off, and I was like, "I'm just trying to go." And she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, no thank you." And then one of the kids I went to school with was like, "George, why would you push her off of you? She's so hot." And I was like, "Because I'd prefer not to have fucking AIDS." And like, I was just like walking off because I was like, back the fuck up, don't want no STDs. And then like I hear her like freaking out, like, "Did he just say I had fucking AIDS?" And then I'm sitting there talking to my friends, and this big tough kid walks up. He's like a senior or junior, and he's like, "Did you fucking say my sister had AIDS?" And I was like, I turned around and I was like, "Oh my god." And he goes, "What?" And I was like, "No one told you?" And he's like, "What the fuck did you just say?" And I was like, I really thought she would have told you before. I didn't want to be the one to break the news." And he's like, "You need to shut your fucking mouth." I was like, "Yeah, she has full-blown AIDS. Like, you should probably bring her to the hospital because she will infect everyone." And he's like, "Why don't you shut your fucking mouth before I break it?" Like, getting all tough. And I was like, "You can punch me all you want. It's not going to stop your sister from having the AIDS. She's already gotten it. If you need help, I can help you, like, put her down. But right now, there's nothing I can do that'll help your situation. So you can punch me, but your sister will still have AIDS." And he's like, "Why don't you shut the fuck up?" And I was like, "I can stop talking, but that's not going to change the fucking real problem here." I was like, she's surrounded by like 800 other people grinding on their dicks when she has AIDS. Do you really think I'm the problem in here? And he's like, "Why you fucking..." And he's like getting pissed, like getting ready to punch me in the face. And I would have had no chance with this motherfucker. Because I was just this fucking freshman talking shit, not much muscle on my body. Just... I always talk shit. I always joke around to get out of it. And he's like, "You want to fucking go?" And I'm like, "Where are we going, Burger King?" Like, I'm trying to either piss him off to the point where if he hits me, he kills me. Or he's going to just be like, "Whatever, fuck this kid." So he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, come on, come at me." And I'm like, I'm not scared of you, you little bitch. Like, I was like, when I was younger, even if I knew I was going to lose the fight, I play tough. Because if you have a better chance of them walking off if you act like you can fucking destroy them. So I was like, "Yeah, fucking try it. I'll knock you the fuck out." Acting like this big tough kid. And then my brother, look, the big gym going fucking basketball player motherfucker, walks up and he's like, "Do we have a problem?" Acting like he's the biggest tough motherfucker in the entire universe. And this guy that's fucking with me is like, "Hey, why don't you shut the fuck up and back up? I'm talking to this kid." He goes, "That's my brother, and if you're messing with him, you're messing with me." And meanwhile, I'm getting upset because my brother's ruining my fight. That was about me, not about him. It's my thing. I started it. I'm gonna finish it, whether it involves me getting a black eye or not. That's up to me. So I was like, "Hey, Brandon, why don't you fuck off? I'm trying to fight this guy." And Brandon's like, "George, shut the fuck up. I got this guy." And I'm like, No, you don't. Back up. He's mine." And like, I'm like telling Brandon to shut the fuck up so I can fight this kid. I was like, "I'm gonna lose, but at least I'm gonna fucking lose with dignity. You ain't gonna break this down for me." And he's just like trying to fight this kid, and the kid's like, "Brandon, you really think you're the toughest guy out there?" And like, the dumbest fight ever, because you know how like they stiffen up, they get chest up, and they're like, "Square up, bro, if you want to go." Like the dumbest fucking fight in the history of the universe. So it's just going back and forth. Nothing's happening. This just testosterone. You can just smell the fucking, oh, those are balls right there. Yeah. So I'm sitting there like, Jesus Christ. And then I was like, "You know what?" And I looked at the guy that was arguing with my brother, and I was like, "You know what? Fuck this kid. Let's fight him." And I'm like, I'm on this guy's side against my brother. I was like, "Let's fucking fuck him up. I'll help you. Like, let's do this." And I was like, hit him. Talking to the other kid, telling him to hit my brother. And, like, he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I was like, "He's a fucking asshole. I hate him." And, like, now I'm on this other guy's side, and he's like, well, shut up, Brandon, and, like, they're going back and forth. Long story short, it all ended, and then, like, a week later, that guy challenged my brother to a fight, and then he pussied out, because my brother would have fucked him up, let's be honest, but it was, like, the weirdest situation, because it went from, like, hey, let's fight, and then he joins, and he's like, hey, let's fight, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, let's fight that guy, actually. Like, let's twist this around and go after him. So... it was kind of a weird situation, but it was pretty fucking funny, because that guy was not expecting to find out that his sister had AIDS, and he also was not expecting to find out that I was willing to fight my own brother with him. So, I had a lot of situations with my brother like that, because he was always, like, trying to help me. So, like, I'd be on the bus, and one kid one time was like, I was talking, and he was like, why don't you shut your fucking mouth, fatty? And then I hear my brother go, well, hey, I'm the only one who can call my brother fatty. And, like, he's getting pissed. He's like, why don't you shut your fucking mouth before I break you, little bitch? And, like, the other kid's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, you can't talk shit to my brother. Shut up or I'll fucking hit you. And, like, I'm on the bus going, shut the fuck up, Brandon. This is between me and him. And I'm, like, trying to fight this other kid while my brother's trying to protect me, which is what my mom told him to do. So he's doing what he was supposed to do. But at the same time, I'm like, shut the fuck up. I got this little fucker. And... it kind of ruined, like, my reputation for the longest time, because then people would be like, what are you going to do, call your brother? And I'm like, I would prefer if he didn't intervene, actually. Like, I'd like to just have me and you. You can hit me, I'll cry, but you know what? At least I didn't have a big brother coming in going, like, acting all tough. So, yeah, that was my whole fucking high school experience, was my brother standing up for me, which is really stressful when you're trying to actually make a name for yourself. But then I was just known as that, like, the fat kid. You were in my school. I was the fat kid that you didn't fuck with because he had an anger issue, but I was also the funny kid who talked to everyone. So that was, like, how I was known. But, like, at my graduation, there was, like, things... people do dumb shit, and they know George is not like us, so... like, at my graduation, we had fucking kids, like, blowing horns and shit, which was against the rules. You're not supposed to do it. It's supposed to be a real celebration. And one kid went, like, did a horn of some sort, and I was like, cut the fucking shit. And he was like, why are you all serious? I'm like, it's my graduation. And meanwhile, I'm thinking, my parents are gone. I want them to be proud of me and see this moment, and I don't want them to hear a bunch of horns while they're up there in heaven, or down there in hell, or somewhere, wherever they are. Maybe they're watching. So I was serious about it, and they're like, George, what are you gonna do? I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put it out clearly. If you keep blowing that horn, I'm gonna fucking break your jaw. Like, I was pissed, and then, like, everyone in, like, near me was like, oh, you don't want to fuck George? You don't... No, they're like, you don't want to piss George off. And the kids who's doing it's like, I'm just joking around. And I was like, I will fucking kill you. Like, I was so pissed. But that was who I was known. It was like, oh, that's the fat kid who you just don't fuck with, but he gets along with everybody. Like, I got in a lot of, like, physical disputes at school, but I definitely wasn't known as, like, the violent one.
I used to be.
Yeah, you. I feel like we were in a general same type situation. Like, we get along with people, but we don't take shit. And that's. I feel like parents don't teach their kids to not take shit anymore. They teach their kids to run and tell a teacher.
For me, a couple schools that I went to actually required me to take anger management class. Yep. Which I met a couple good guys that became my friends. Haven't talked to them in a little while, but...
they're all in prison now, but...
No.
But no, like, I got in so many physical disputes that I didn't get in trouble for, but I think it's because most of them involved my parents in some way. Like, one kid was like... my mom was in the hospital, she was in the ICU, and so it's a big deal. We thought she was gonna pass, and a whole bunch of kids from school heard about it. And then I was walking, and one kid I didn't get along with just goes, I hope your fat-ass mother fucking dies. And I was like, what the fuck did you just say? And he goes, I hope your fat mother... And immediately I saw red and fucking, like, I didn't think I could do that with my fat-ass legs, but I Spartan kicked this motherfucker in the chest, and he hit his head off the window, which... I'm pretty sure it was me, because the little miniature crack in that window wasn't there beforehand. But I kicked him. Now there's a crack on the window. And he just stopped moving. And I was like, oh, fuck, I killed him. Like, oh, God. And then I stopped seeing red. I stopped being angry, and I was like, ah, no, God damn it. And then I, like, went to the office, and I was like, hey, you might need to call an ambulance. And they're like, why? And I was like, I think I killed him. And they're like, what? And I'm like, there's so much blood. And he's unconscious. I think he's dead. And they're like, George, what are you talking about? I was like, he said something about my mom, so I killed him. And they're like, wait, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, it's just, you might want to get out there. Like, why are you asking me so many questions? I think he's dead. Like, you might want to go see if he's okay. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm just like, just go fucking see the kid. Like, stop asking me questions. So they go out and check. He's still not moving. The nurse runs out. They call 911. He gets hauled away in an ambulance. I get pulled into the office, obviously, because I almost killed somebody. Turned out he just got knocked out. Minor concussion. Wasn't a big deal. But I was in the office, and my vice principal was like, George, what happened? Like, you can't just go off kicking kids. Like, that's not okay. And I was like, oh, let me explain it. So he said that he hoped my fat ass mother died, and my mom is actually dying right now. So I kicked him as hard as I could, and he almost died. So that's what happened. And they're like, that doesn't give you an excuse. I'm like, on the contrary, I believe it does.
Yeah.
Because if your mom was dying and someone said, I hope your fat ass mom dies, what would you do? And they were like, well, it makes sense, but still. And I'm like, so I fucking kicked him. I was like, and I didn't know I had that much strength in my fucking leg. But then again, I do carry around 300 pounds on a daily basis. So must have some type of power behind it. But it was just a funny situation because, like, I'm trying to tell them, like, I think your student's dead. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, you might want to fucking check him. Like, you just gonna sit here and keep talking to me? I'll tell you stories, but I think your student's dying. So go out and check on the motherfucker. And to this day, me and him get along great. I get along great with a lot of the people I have verbal disputes with. But yeah, does anyone else have anything before we wrap it up?
Kind of sad, but I don't really have that many funny stories.
I tell way too many stories, and we'll probably have another one of these someday with somebody else to share some new funny stories.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's wrap it up. Hey guys, thanks for listening. This has been the Rants and Raves Embarrassing Stories podcast. If you like this video, please like,
comment,
and subscribe.
And hit that bell icon. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.